All right, so you know why you're here, right? You want to get smart, quick about the stuff that actually matters, no useless stuff, just straight to the point. And today we're going to dig into the Osceola Magic's big win in the NBA G League Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, exactly. This wasn't just another win,
Yeah.
It sent them straight to the G League Finals, and it's only the second time they've made it there.
We've got some really interesting stuff to look at, mostly from this article called Believe in Magic. Osceola defeats Maine to advance to 2025 NBA G League Finals. We really want to get into how they pulled this off and why it's such a big deal.
Okay, so right away, one thing that pops out is how they totally dominated home.
Yeah.
It seems like Osceola Heritage Park was a huge advantage for them. They didn't lose a single game there, and that carried over into the playoffs. No kidding. Going undefeated at home during the regular season tells you a lot about how confident a team is and how they connect with their fans. Coach Dylan Murphy even talked about this. And when you see that final score, 135-122, against a pretty tough Maine Celtics team, it really shows how that home court advantage turns into actual results, like that extra energy, being familiar with the court, all that stuff can make a huge difference.
And this is where it gets super interesting. Mac McClung's performance, 42 points. That's a new franchise record, and he did it in a game with so much pressure.
What's really cool about all those points is the context. McClung is a two-way player, meaning he can play for both the Orlando Magic in the NBA and their G League team in Osceola Plus. He was the G League MVP in 2023-24. So everyone's expecting big things from him. And when he talked about how the team's all about working together, even mentioning Jeff Weltman from the Magic organization, it shows how when a team has a good environment, it helps people succeed individually. He said, when you're around good people and you have great players, good things are going to eventually happen. That really shows what kind of team they've built.
And this game had something extra, didn't it? It was like the MVP from the year before, McClung, going up against the current MVP from Maine, J.D. Davison. Talk about a big matchup.
For sure. Two of the best in the league fighting for a spot in the finals. And while Davison had some awesome stats himself, 34 points and 11 assists, McClung was definitely the better player in this game. What Coach Murphy said about McClung being an NBA player and how he always steps up when it matters really shows how important he is. It wasn't just about how many points he scored, it was when he scored them and what those baskets meant for the team.
But it wasn't all about one guy, right? The article mentioned that a bunch of other Osceola players scored in double digits too. Ethan Thompson, Jalen Slauson, Myron Gardner, and Javonte Smart. That makes it seem like a real team effort.
Right on. When you've got a lot of players who can score, it makes it way harder for the other team to figure out how to stop you. Obviously, McClung was the star, but having four other guys score that much shows they've got a really strong offense. It proves what McClung said about everyone playing for each other. It wasn't just about one guy trying to show off.
So how did the game actually go? Were there any big moments or parts of the game that really changed things in Osceola's favor?
Well, the stats give us some hints. When you shoot over 52% from the field and an amazing 46% from three-point range, that's some serious offensive power. But the article really focused on the third quarter as the turning point. Osceola outscored Maine 32-24 in that quarter, and that's when they got their biggest lead of the game, 8 points. That shift in momentum seems like it was really important.
And Coach Murphy specifically said that them playing better defense in the third quarter was what gave them that boost. So it wasn't just about scoring more points, it was about playing tough on the other end of the court too.
Exactly. Playing strong defense can often get the offense going and totally change the game. To outscore a really good team like Maine in every single quarter shows they're playing well consistently. But what they did on defense in that third quarter seems like it was the real game changer. It shut down Maine's offense and let Osceola build that lead they needed.
All right, so let's zoom out a bit and look at the whole season. This win isn't just a random thing, What does it say about the kind of season the Osceola Magic have had?
Well, if we look at the bigger picture, Osceola actually finished the regular season with the best record in the entire G League. That kind of consistency all season long shows how good they really are. And like we've already talked about, going undefeated at home in the Eastern Conference was a big part of that. Even when you include the playoff games, their record at home for the 2024-25 season is 15 wins and only 4 losses. That's pretty impressive.
And it's interesting that Coach Murphy specifically talked about how much the fans helped them, saying that the home crowd in March really resurrected their season. That says a lot about how connected the team and the fans are.
It really does. It shows how important it is to have that home court advantage. The energy and excitement from the crowd can give a team a real boost, especially when the season is getting tough, things can change quickly. It sounds like those Osceola fans played a huge role in getting them where they are.
So they've won the Eastern Conference Championship. What's next for the Osceola Magic?
Well, this win sends them to the G League Finals. And the best part is they get to play most of the games at home. The championship series is best of 3, and Game 1 is on Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And if the series goes to 3 games, they get to host that last game too.
And they're going up against whoever wins the Western Conference Finals between the Austin Spurs and the Stockton Kings. So the stakes are super high now. They're just a few wins away from being champions.
That's right. They fought their way through a tough Eastern Conference, and now they've got a real shot at winning it all in the G League. And they might even get to play 2 out of the 3 games in front of their awesome home crowd. That home court advantage they've built could be a huge factor in the finals.
Okay, so to wrap this all up, what's the main takeaway for anyone who's been listening to this deep dive? What should we remember about this Osceola Magic win?
The things that really made the Osceola Magic win the Eastern Conference Finals were how they totally dominated at home and how unbelievably well Mac McClung played, scoring more points than anyone else in the team's history and doing it when it mattered most. It's also clear that their team culture is really strong, and all those cheering fans at home definitely helped them along the way.
And for you listening in, I hope this deep dive has given you a good understanding of this win and what it means and all the important things that help the Osceola Magic make it to the G League Finals.
And it makes you think about something really interesting. How do we see this idea of a strong team culture, amazing individual performances, and a supportive community all working together to create success? And not just in basketball, but in all parts of life. It's something to really think about for anyone who's trying to achieve something big.
Absolutely. So much to ponder there, and we'll be back next time with another deep dive. I can't wait to explore more fascinating stories with you all. See you then.
See you then.
Bye.